Blog Talk Radio.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now, it's our turn.
Hello and good evening. Thanks for joining me. This is your host once again, Rob Freeman, here on Critical Mass Radio. How's everyone doing? Are you alright? Everybody alright? Just having a quick look at the chat room here. There were a big burp. You heard me burp, did you? Sorry about that. Somebody in the chat room heard me burp there. I can't help it. I'm sucking water here and burping like mad. Yeah, so hello everyone. Thanks for joining me again for, what is it now? Show number 10. Wow. That's nearly 2 full seasons, isn't it? Yeah, incidentally, if you hear some strange breathing, I've got a really sensitive mic here, and it's picking up everything. That's probably why Kevo in the chat room had the burp. Yeah, that's, sorry, my screen's gone all blank. Oh, I'm back again. I always panic here. You know, at the start of the show, I always panic because my screen sometimes goes blank. I can feel that mad rush of panic. Yeah, but we're alright now. Yeah, so if you hear some strange breathing or a strange burp, it's just me. It's only a little silent burp, and it comes out really loud, doesn't it? Yeah, so tonight, what we're going to do tonight? Well, what I thought we'd do is, as usual, go through some monetary stuff, because my show's kind of evolved into that now. It's not what I'm all about, but it seems to be revolving on this economic slavery that we're all under, and how do we get out of it? And so my main theme is always to mirror it back. So a sub-theme for tonight is belief or believe. Now, some of you may be aware, but I don't use that word believe anymore. I don't think I've used it for the last, I would say about 5 years now, because believe has got, or belief, has got the word lie in the middle. And I realise that we're all being manipulated by core belief systems. So I thought, well, I'm not going to use that word, belief or believe. But, you know, lately I've changed my mind. And the reason I've changed my mind is I've been looking at the word believe, and I thought to myself, we're being enslaved by many things, money and everything, but we're also being enslaved by words, aren't we? And what I realised is there's no such thing as a good or bad word. It's how you interpret that word and your intentions behind that word. So I'm now going to use, I barred myself from using the words believe, what else, faith, hope. I thought I'm not using those words because they're like a construct, aren't they, to help enslave us. And lately I've realised that there's nothing wrong with believing. So, sub-theme tonight is belief or believing, but it's not the ordinary belief or believing. Tonight's sub-theme is self-belief. Any belief or belief system or believing from an outside source is not real. The belief I'm talking about is self-belief. Now, I've got self-belief, and I think we've all got it. That's why we're here now listening. That's why we're all tuned in. All we need is a little bit more confidence and believe in ourselves, and we can make a change, and we are making a difference, and we are making a change. So that's the sub-theme tonight, is belief or believe, but self-belief. Okay, so just before I move on, and we'll stick another song in a minute, but before that, well, I've got emails. Oh, man, thanks to, I've been flooded, well, that's a wrong word to use at the moment, isn't it? But I've been flooded with emails and text messages, people asking me to help with individual problems. I don't know. When was it? Friday or Saturday, I think it was. Busy in front of my computer, working away, and within the space of an hour, I got emails and text messages. What did I get? A friend of mine got a parking ticket. Somebody that I didn't really know had just been arrested and let out. Excuse me, I feel like burping again. I hope I don't pick it up. Yeah, somebody that I don't know very well contacted me. They'd just been arrested. And a lady that I've only ever met once what was she doing? She was fighting off some, well, not physically, but fighting off some bailiffs that were trying to empty her house out. So within an hour I got all this. And so I'm busy, I think Friday lunchtime, I think it was. I just sat down to 3 pickled onions and a Kit Kat. That were my bleeding lunch, that were. Anyway, I got these messages all at once and put my research down to one side. I'm working away, switched into gear and sorted it all out within an hour. So I don't know what happened since that talking in Manchester. People are just, you know, really contacting me and can you help with this and can you help with that? And I'm happy to do it. I'm really, really pleased. So there's a momentum gathered, or is gathering. Something's happened, and it's thanks to this station. It's thanks to Critical Mass Radio. This station, and you can say, oh, you're biased because you're a host on it, but we don't earn money from it, so I don't have to be biased. This is my show. I can basically, I've got free speech. I can say what I want, and what I want to say is that this this radio station, Critical Mass Radio, it's not just trying to make a difference, it's now stamping some sort of authority and making a difference now. I can see the change, and I'm sure people in the chat rooms and the other hosts, they can see a change, and it's happening now. We've had some great shows already. What are we on? We're on Wednesday, aren't we? And we've already had some great shows, 2 great shows on Monday, again last night, so I hope I'm not letting the side down tonight. Yeah, and who's on after me? Oh, Andy Peacher. Catch Andy Peacher's show. He's not usually on Wednesdays. The Earth Needs Rebels show. He's on after me. I think Alex is busy being proactive, so no Razor's Edge show tonight. But catch Andy Peacher's show. Andy Peacher's show. It's vastly becoming such an important show that, and I think he's going to take over from me at 9 o'clock. So I'm going to stick a song on, settle in, and we'll cover some interesting stuff. Oh, I'll tell you, just before I forget, I might have a go. I've been wanting to do this for about 4 weeks now. I might have a go. It's a bit of a little experiment I wanted to try. I don't know if it works. You're all going to say, Rob Freeman, you are a genius. If it don't work, well, I'll get my hat and coat, and I think the taxi's running because I'll make myself look alright, Burke. But anyway, I'll have a go at that. It's a bit of an experiment, like a psychic experiment. So have a bit of fun. We'll try that later on. So, announcement. Oh, last announcement. I've had to jot this down on a piece of paper. To my friendly neighbourhood stalker. I've not mentioned him purposely for a few weeks, but thanks a lot again, Bill. I've got a stalker called Bill. He absolutely loves me. He's now... I've made a mistake here. He's seen me on video, and he says, I'm just going to read the last part. Rob, I had no idea you were such a handsome little chubby chap. What you are doing is great. Thanks a lot, Bill. And now I've seen you, I can't stop thinking about you. Full power to you, Rob Freeman. I love you. Love, Bill. So, I just want to say, once and for all, Bill, I do not love you any more or any less than any other human being on the planet. So, if it's one of my mates, I'll find you out. Don't worry, and I'll get you back. In a friendly way, of course. Yeah, so cheers, Bill, for that. Yeah, I'm really impressed with that. Right, before I go any further, I've got a strange itch. Oh, and I can't reach it. So, I'll try and reach this itch and see you back in about 10 seconds.
CMR Critical Mass Radio in association with We Are Change Manchester and Freedom Northwest. Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station. CMR is for people who want answers, because now it's our turn.
Yeah, well said. Our Lisa's got a lovely speaking voice, hasn't she? It's lovely, that. Lovely accent as well. Yeah, so the all-important disclaimer, so... This is my opinion and my views, and I believe in free speech like all the other hosts. So you don't have to listen, you don't have to believe, I don't want you to believe anything I say, and it no way reflects the station as a whole, or anybody else on it, or anybody else on the planet. This is just my interpretation of things.
Good day, public. We are anonymous. Operation Jubilee, 5th of November, 2012. Gather peacefully at the Parliament Building, London, to declare the true Jubilee. Cancel all debt, stop war, redistribute the land, and eliminate poverty.
It's time.
With enough faith, united together we can move a mountain. It's going to take all of us. We are all anonymous. It's time to stand up for yourself, your family and your country. Show up and count yourself in the 99% anonymous millions. There can be no forgiveness without true and full repentance. If you do not repent, we cannot forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Last announcement, almost forgot. I just wanted to thanks to Phil in the chat room. He's helped me out this last week or so. He knows what he's done. Thanks, Phil, for that. Brilliant, mate. And incidentally, I'm going to start up this YouTube channel, and Phil's giving me a bit of a hand with that. In fact, a lot of a hand. Yeah, so cheers, Phil, for that. Thanks. Okay. Right, let's crack on. I'll tell you what we'll do. Last week, somebody posted in the chat room that they wanted to know about bailiffs, and as you know, last week I was a bit under pressure and I didn't really have much of a structure. So what I thought is a good idea is I'm going to cover bailiffs this week, actually. So I'm going to cover a little bit about the legal name now, the old capital names that we all know about, but what it actually is, and it's nothing to be feared, really. We're going to cover some loan stuff. There's that psychic experiment coming up. So some loan stuff, some bailiff stuff, and bits and bobs like that. So what I thought I'd do is, because I couldn't get bailiffs in last week, anybody in the chat room tonight wants to discuss something or needs a bit of help with something, a particular subject, if you ask a question tonight in the chat room, I'm probably not going to have time to cover it tonight, but I might not even see it while I'm on air, but after I'll look back at the comments and questions, and what I'll do is I'll base next week's show around the things that you want. So, and then possibly between us we could come up with solutions. So I think it's a good idea to do that. I mean, there's loads of information I can be passing on, but it's got to be relevant, hasn't it? So, because you lot can be bothered to join the chat room and get involved, I'll base at least half my show around the stuff that you want to know or get some kind of, you know, solution to or some help with. So yeah, post any questions in the chat room tonight. Oh, what's that message say? Why the hell have I started? Oh, I've no idea what Paul's on about there. I'll have to ignore that. Right, so what did I say? Yeah, so post a question or whatever you want to do, and we'll cover it next week. Right, I seem to be waffling this week, don't it? It's 20:07 already. Okay, so first subject, let's cover the legal name. What is the legal name? Why are we all scared of it? Okay, the legal name, Mr. Robert Freeman or Robert Freeman in block capitals. All your demands or liabilities will always come in either block capitals, and a lot of people understand this block capitals. The Latin for it is capitis diminutio maxima. That's the Latin for it, for the all capital name, and really it just means maximum loss of rights, really, because it's viewed as a corporation. We know it's a corporation, but it's also a trust, as we know. And that's been explained time and time again, and most people understand that. But what they don't understand is, sometimes it's not in all capitals. It's there's a title before it, as in Mr. or Mrs. or Miss. It's got the same effect, it is a legal title. Excuse me, I've got wind. Pardon me, sorry about that. Yeah, so it throws it off a little bit because it can come in what I call normal writing, for want of a better phrase, but it can have Mr. in front. Now, because it's not in all capitals, we tend to think it's not this maximum loss of rights, and it is, because it's still got a legal title. So, don't be frightened of the all capital name or the legal title of Mr., Miss or Mrs. whatever, and I'll tell you what it is. For a start, the all capitals name that we all, early Freeman stuff, I mean, this is me, myself 5 years ago, wandering into court. I'm not Robert Freeman, I'm not that name. And what I've realised is that we're not that name, but some part of us is in there, because it's a facility and a tool created for us to use. So some part of us is in there, but it's not the whole us, if that makes sense. In the same way that we can all be categorised. For example, let's have a look. Well, I'm Rob Freeman, but I can be fitted into categories. This is what the all capitals name or the legal title name is. So, for example, I'm Rob Freeman, I'm middle-aged, so I can fit into a category. I hate saying that, middle-aged. Yeah, I'm male. I'm under 50 years of age. I'm a parent, so I can be slotted into that category. I'm a single parent, in fact, so I can be slotted into that. I've got brown eyes. I live in a certain geographical area. I'm inside a certain income bracket. So you get the idea. So you're categorised. So all those things I've just mentioned, geographical area, blah blah blah, brown eyes and stuff, some part of me is in there, but that's not the whole me, is it? And this is how we need to think about this legal name. Some part of me is in there. Same if it's Mr. Robert Freeman, but it's not the whole me, is it? So this is what I mean about don't be frightened of it. It's just your capital name or the legal title name. It's a tool and a facility for us to use. So, how do they use it against us then? Well, they cast what I always call a fishing net. They throw the all capital names, Mr. Robert Freeman or Robert Freeman capital names, they cast the fishing net and they wait for a bite. So they throw it at my address. And they chuck it at my address and wait for a bite, and we all bite. Not so much us now, but everybody does, don't they? They think it's us, Mr. I've always thought I am Mr. Robert Freeman. Well, my mum and dad didn't name me Mr., did they? And they certainly don't put on my birthday cards in block capital letters, do they? So they cast a fishing net, throw it at your house, and wait for a bite. Incidentally, we go to school, don't we? Like, what else as a school, when we were kids, what else is a school? A school of fish, isn't it? So they're fishing, it's a fishing expedition. We are the fish. So when we buy it for the all capital name, or I'll just call it the legal name now, that's including Mr. or Mrs. or whatever, when we buy it, we have to go to court. Well, what happens to a fish? It gets caught, doesn't it? It's as simple as that. This is why. So all it is a fishing expedition. So sometimes use Mr., Mrs., Miss, preceding the name. Again, it's a legal title, like I said. Sorry, a legal title, like I said. Created by our birth certificates, as we know. Incidentally, your birth certificate started life as a foreign situs trust. And as you get to age of maturity, you know, I don't know if it's 16 or 17 when you get national insurance number, that foreign situs trust, everything's back to trust again, changes into the Sept KV trust. So more on that, probably more on that next week. Well, I'll tell you what it is. That Sept KV trust, once you become an adult, well, I'll tell you what, see if I can explain. I'll tell you what, I'll explain it very simply. From when you're born, right, you've got 7 years, just from 7, to reclaim your trust estate. Otherwise, we're classed as lost at sea, or dead or lost at sea. So that's why when I don't want to call them the elite, the powers that were, I'm going to call them now because they're on a losing battle. The powers that were, when they send a child any sort of mail or letters, example doctors or some, I don't know, child benefit in their name or anything, they call them master. They always address the child as master. Like when I was a kid, Master Robert Freeman. So what I'm basically saying is, the first 7 years of any kid's life, he is a master. I think it applies to girls as well. But you are a master, the highest you can be, because you've not reclaimed your trust. It's been salvaged, so you're classed as dead or lost at sea. You're presumed dead. So then, what do you become? Now, I know kids sometimes, even at 11 and 12, get letters in master, but officially, on their records, once you're past 7 years old, the time's elapsed to claim your trust. So you're no longer a master. And what do you become? You become, if you're a male, a mister. That's when you become mister. And what does mister mean? It actually means mystery. That's what you are. You're a mystery. You're dead or lost at sea. So that's why they throw out this legal name now, because they've taken over. They're acting as trustees and executors of your trust. You are dead or lost at sea. For instance, Miss, for a female, Miss is missing or mystery. Same with Mrs. If you get married, it's all down to missing and mystery. If you get divorced, what is it? Ms. or whatever it is. Missing or mystery. So, we don't exist after 7 years old. So, and this is what I'm doing now, we can come back and we can claim back our trust estate and just tell them this is what I'm going to do in court when I'm there October 9th. I'm going to tell them I'm not dead. I'm not lost at sea. You haven't salvaged anything. I've returned, and I've returned to administer my own trust estate. So, we can all do it. I'm going to do it on October 9th. I'm going to send the paperwork in first. So, I was presumed dead, lost at sea, and I was salvaged. I am no longer a mister. I'm no longer a mystery. I'm back to being a master again, because it's my trust estate. You might have, thanks ever so much for looking after it for me, but now I'm back to reclaim it. So let's use this legal name in all its forms, capitals or whatever. Let's just use it. It's the name of our trust estate. All we've got to do is appoint ourselves general executor of it, informing the bloody powers that we're alive. And we are administering the policy of the trust estate. And not only that, we're well capable of handling our own affairs. That's the other thing. They view us as mentally deficient. That's what they view us as. Or even children. Intellectually and spiritually speaking, they think we're kids. But worse, they think we're mentally deficient. They think we're incapable. And to be honest, the 95 or 99% are incapable of handling their own affairs. So we've kind of asked for it in a way, but not for us now. We can fight back, can't we? So they class us as mentally subnormal or mentally deficient. Incidentally, that's why when you have local elections. Sorry, I just got a message through. Oh, great question. I've just got a question off Paul. Where does the national insurance come into this at the age of 16? Great question. Yeah, it comes in. What happens is they set up a foreign situs trust for when you're a child. That's your birth certificate, the first 2 or 3 weeks of your life, Paul. And it carries on the foreign situs trust. That's what it is. We're the beneficiaries, but they take over control, and then I don't know how, I don't know if somebody can tell me in the chat room, whatever age you are when you get your national insurance, is it 17, 18 or 16, whatever it is, after you've left school, the Foreign Citrus Trust is what you call it subrogates, which means it evolves basically and transfers automatically over, or they transfer it for us, into the Sept AV Trust. The national insurance number then that you are given is evidence of that trust. And what it basically means is you're a government employee. So yeah, good question that, Paul. So that's when it happens. Whenever you get your national insurance number, whenever you have come of age, that's when it subrogates, it changes over to the Sept AV Trust. So that's that. So, where was I? Oh yeah, incidentally, what was I talking? Oh, yeah, they class us as mentally deficient, not capable of representing ourselves or handling our business affairs. So, have you noticed in local elections, what is it split up into? It's split up into wards. W-A-R-D-S, wards. Well, what else has wards? Hospitals, they have wards, don't they? Mental hospitals especially. So, prisons, what do they have? They have wardens, don't they? That's what a steward is, a steward. So, we are classed by the powers that were, who are not going to be there for much longer, so they're the powers that were. So we are the inmates of a hospital, mental hospital, stroke open prison, well, a hospital for the mentally subnormal. So that's what we are. That's what we are to them. Well, we know we're not, but that's what they think we are. Yeah, so that's the all capital name, or the legal name, legal fiction name, whatever you want to call it. Let's not be scared of it. All we've got to do is appoint ourselves. It's not easy. All you've got to do is send a notice. But like I say, I'm doing it for the courts, and my idea is now is to send a copy of the notice. Once I've got this stupid court case out of the way, which I will do, we can then take back control of our trusts, and we can appoint ourselves general executor. Nobody can stop us. They're doing it. They're still using this now. So if they can do it, we can do it, because we know the system's working, because they're using it against us now. So we're not going to fight with them. We're not going to argue. All we're going to do is reappoint ourselves. Because if we never do that, they're never going to know that we want to do that. So in their mind, they're doing nothing wrong, and they're working on our behalf, which is a load of bollocks, isn't it? So all we've got to do is swap it back. They're our trustees, and we take back control. Anyway, that's a bit of waffling. Good stuff, though, that. And so to clear up this legal thing name, this legal fiction name, don't be frightened of it. If you get it in all capitals, or you get your Mr., or like me, I'm going to go to court, and they're going to call me Mr. Freeman. And any paperwork that they do give me is going to be in all block capitals, but so what? Right, so, I'll tell you what, we're going to have a go at this psychic experiment. It's only a bit of a laugh, so, and if it works, you all think I'm great. And if it doesn't, you think, what a prat. So, I forgot to tell you, before that song, all you're going to need is a piece of paper and a pen or pencil. And let me just tell you, there's a little bit of really simple maths to start this off. And all it is it's a bit of an experiment to show how your mind works. You're going to flip from numbers and words, a little bit of basic maths to start with, and then we're going to try, instead of me transmitting, I thought I'm going to transmit my thoughts and see if it works, and see if anybody can pick it up in the chat room or at home, but obviously you can contact me in the chat room. And then I thought, no, I'll do it in reverse. So, we'll do this experiment. So, I'm going to play, what am I going to play? I'm just going to play an advert for about 2 minutes, give you time to go and get a pencil or pen and a bit of paper, a calculator if you're really thick at maths like me, but it's a really simple multiplication to start with, and that's not the real issue of the experiment anyway. So yeah, I'll give you 2 minutes. Go and grab a pen and paper. I'll play this advert and see you back in 2 minutes, and we'll have a go at this. And if it works, you're gonna think you're gonna love me, and if it doesn't, I'll make myself look a right prat. Yeah, so I'll see you back in 2 minutes.
CMR Critical Mass Radio in association with We Are Change Manchester and Freedom North West. If you want to spread ideas and information and attend meetings and activities, if you believe in freedom and liberty and want to be part of the change, this is the place to be.
Well, that weren't 2 minutes, was it? Oh, 50 seconds. It says 2 minutes here. Not to worry. Right, so let's have a go at this. Only a bit of fun, and then we'll get on to some. I'll tell you what we'll do after this. We'll get a bit of this done, and then we'll crack on with... I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do loans. Loans and bailiffs. We'll do that, because that's important stuff. So, psychic experiment time. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Or terrible. Right. We've got a few scousers there, haven't we, in the chat room, so I'll talk a bit slower. Make sure you can understand proper English. Lol, just kidding. Lol, I've even saying lol now, I type it that often. Right, it's Dr. Rob's experiment time. I don't tell a jingle there, didn't I? But I didn't watch it, Freeman. Alright, Lisa, sorry about that, love. Lisa, you and George, get me a jingle here. It's the Dr. Rob's experiment time. That was crap, wasn't it? Get me a jingle sorted, I need one. Right, so, has everybody got pen and paper? You don't need a calculator, really. Right, so the object is, I'm going to distract your minds with numbers, words and phrases, and everything you imagine, I'm going to try and pick up on it. Incidentally, if anybody in the chat room has seen this or something similar to this before, just keep stum for us, because it'll spoil it otherwise. Okay, a bit of basic maths, right. Everyone, if you've got a pen and paper, right, everybody think of a number between 1 and 10. There's a bit of multiplication, so this is not the issue of the number, so if you're not so good at maths, just pick a low number. It's not about me guessing the number. So, pick a number between 1 and 10. Everybody done that? So I'm just looking at that. Right, okay. I've got a message through that, so yes, pick a number between 1 and 10, and the lower numbers are easy if you're not very good at maths. Okay, times it by 9, the hardest part of the whole thing. So times it by 9. Yep, write the answer down. Okay. From whatever answer you get, what I want you to do now, and this is the last bit of maths really, is subtract 5. Take away 5 from that total. Okay, have you done it? Yeah, so whatever you're left with now, say you're left with 2 digits, I don't know, say it's 33 for instance you're left with. What I want you to do is add those 2 digits together. So for instance, if you're on 33, you'd add 3 and 3, and we're trying to get to a single digit. So for instance, 33 would be 3 and 3 would be 6, wouldn't it? So whatever 2 digits you've got, add them together to get a single digit. Once you've added them together, if you're still left with 2 digits, then add those together until you're down to a single digit. Yeah? Give you time to do that. Okay? It is going somewhere, this, actually. Okay, whatever you're left with, you should now be left with a single digit. Yep, once you've added them together. Lovely. Okay, give you just time to do that. Okay, so you now should be left just with a single digit after a bit of mathematics. And that's it for the maths, so you can relax now and put your calculators away. Okay, whatever single digit you're left with now, I want you to think about the letters of the alphabet. Okay, now, transmit, sorry, I'm banging my microphone. Transmit that single number to me. 1, 2, 3, yep, transmit it, lovely. Right, think about the alphabet. So, for instance, if your single digit was, let's say, 3, think about the corresponding letter of the alphabet. So, for instance, if you were left with 3, you will have A, B, C. So, you'll be the letter C. So, whatever digit you're left with, it's corresponding letter of the alphabet. Yep, whatever you're on, write it down. Transmit it to me. 3, 2, 1. That's it, concentrate. Lovely. So now you've got a letter, yeah? Okay, pick that letter. What can we do with that letter? Let's have a look. With that letter, think of a country. Think of a country, beginning with that letter of the alphabet. Beam it across to me. Transmit it across. So just in case anyone's getting lost, if, for instance, if my letter was A, for instance, I'd pick the country Algeria. So, the letter you're left with, do the country, beam it across, we're nearly done. Yep, done that. Okay, so now you've got a country, and it's coming across to me. Okay, last little bit, so whatever country you've picked, take the second letter of that country and think of an animal. So for instance, for me, if I was on Algeria, I would take the second letter L and I'd think of a lion, for instance. So, take the second letter of your country, think of an animal, transmit it across to me, beginning with that letter, whatever the second letter is, focus. So now I've got a country and an animal. Just for extra emphasis, think, I don't know, beam the colour of that animal across. So like I said lion, I'd be beaming like a yellowy colour. So think about it, keep transmit it across. Is it going to work or am I going to look right to work? Keep beaming it across. The animal and the colour of your animal over to me strongly. Okay. That's it. Pencils down. So, you have now transmitted all your thoughts, distracted by a calculation. What you should be left with is a country and an animal and the colour of that animal. So, I've got a taxi running. I'm ready to go for my hat and coat. If this doesn't work out, if I said the phrase to you all, there are no grey elephants in Denmark, would it mean anything? I hope so. Did it work? Did it not? I don't know. I think it worked for some people. The only way that can not work out is if you do the maths incorrectly. So you're better off picking a lower number. Yeah, it's all about numbers. You get sidetracked with numbers. It's just a mathematical equation. By adding the digits all together, you always end up on 4. This is, I think Paul in the chat room there said, we are really easy to manipulate, and we are. What I did, I picked this because it's been floating around for about a year, this on the internet, but I first saw this about 4 or 5 years ago. And all it is I'm just trying to find out why I picked an eel. Or, well, Lisa's put, I'm just trying to figure out why I picked an eel. Actually, Lisa, you're the only one that's ever done that, because when you listen back to this on podcast, and I say to you, if I was on air, I'd pick Algeria, my second letter would be L. And I'm putting it in your mind, L for elephant. So you're the only one that didn't do it. So it's me manipulating you. It's a mathematical equation that you don't realise. And what happens is numbers, words, phrases, they're all the same. But when you're doing it consciously, you're that focused on getting the maths right, and you think that's going to be the whole experiment. Is when I change and it's a country and an animal colour, your mind has to swap, and that's why you've already been manipulated. So I think it worked for quite a few people there, and the only way it can fall down is the maths side. So when I say I use Algeria L, and you're looking at E, most people will hear L and think elephant. Now, it works because what colour are elephants? There's only one colour for elephants, it's grey, isn't it? So when you first do that, and you do the maths properly, and you say the phrase, there are no grey elephants in Denmark, people are gobsmacked. Now, how many countries begin with D? I think there's only Denmark I can think of. There may be others, but first reaction, first thought after doing your maths, Denmark. So that's how it works. It's just manipulation. Now, it's a crap example. Perhaps it didn't work for some and did for others. But the point is, we're all quite aware people and awake people, aren't we? Or we like to think we are, but it's still easy to be manipulated. So, yeah, it's a bit of an experiment. Hang on a minute. Yep, go on, mate. You're all right, yeah. That's all right. I've sent the taxi home now. I don't think it was that bad, was it? If it had been a disaster, I'd have jumped in the taxi. Yeah, so, enough waffling from me. Let's get on to this. What time are we on? Oh, we're all right, yeah. Okay, loans. Let's have a look at loans. I've had loads of messages, emails and stuff like that. I've got a loan. I've got a credit card. I don't help people with mortgages. I won't give any advice or anything yet on mortgages. It's the most important thing. I don't want you to get kicked out of your houses. Sorry, I'm just having a sip of water. Well, it's the same principle. I tried it out and I was still going to get kicked out of my house. So forget about mortgages. Forget about secured loans on your property, even though I am the only person that I'm aware of. Now, there's going to be others, loads of others, but I'm the only person that I've come across that has got rid of a secured loan on his property and got the charge removed. So, but I won't recommend it yet. So, loans, credit cards, bank loans and mortgages. Non-secured ones, let's do it simple. So, how do they work? Well, putting mortgages to one side, which is a loan anyway, let's have a look at credit cards and loans. Okay, when you enter into a loan agreement with a bank or whatever, what happens is you sign a note. You signed a note. Anybody who's had any sort of loan, no matter how big, large or small, or any sort of credit card, this is what happens. So you sign a note, they get you to sign a note, and they tell you it's a contract. Okay, well, it's not a contract, and I'll show you that in a bit. And the notes, what it is it's promising to pay back the bank. And usually, sometimes you have to provide collateral for this, don't you? You have to sign up your collateral, which the bank can seize if you don't repay it. Repay this loan in inverted commas, because it's not a loan. Okay, so you sign a note. They tell you it's a contract. It's not, because it's got to be signed by two people. We sign it on our own. It's an agreement. So we sign a note, and what is it? It's a promissory note. That's what it is. We're promising to pay it back. Sometimes we put collateral up, sometimes not, but we're promising to pay it back, aren't we? So this fictitious contract, this note, supposedly qualified you to receive the bank's money. So everything's fine there, isn't it? You sign a note, it's a promissory note, you promise to pay it back. If you don't repay or if you default, they can take your goods away. So everything above board there, isn't it? You're promising to pay back, you qualify, you receive the bank's money and you're going to pay it back. Lovely. However, the bank either sells or hypothecates your promise to pay, your promissory note. Hypothecates, good word. What does hypothecate mean? The law dictionary is to pledge property as security or collateral for a debt. So, I'll read that again then. So, the bank either sells or hypothecates your promissory note before you sign the final papers relative to the loan. So, what am I saying? I'm saying that the bank either sells or pledges your note as security or collateral, your promissory note. It's already pledged it or sold it before you sign the final papers relative to the loan. Why is that important? We're going to see. In actual fact then, the bank receives the proceeds of the sale or the hypothecation of your note before it accepts your note as a loan to itself. Sounds confusing, doesn't it? It's not. Banks, all banks, they can't loan their own money from their own assets or from depositors' money. They're not allowed to do that. I think it's to do with risk, and if they kept making too many loans, they wouldn't be able to do it. So a bank cannot loan their own money out. It can't do it from its assets or from depositors' money. Right, see if this can make this a bit simpler for you. So where does the money come from? A lot of people might be aware of this, but I've gone into this to try and... A lot of people say, oh, we create the money, and we do create the money. But how does that process work? And this is it. Yeah, so they're not allowed to lend money. So the supposed contract that we signed, our promissory note, was converted into what's called a negotiable instrument. You may have heard this before, by the bank. So the note becomes a negotiable instrument. They've already pledged it before we've even signed the final papers. What happens to that negotiable instrument? Well, it's now an instrument. It can be used. It becomes an asset of the bank's accounting books. The bank's accounting books, whether it's on computer or just on hard copy as a book, it has a credit and a debit section. So our note that we've signed, that we think is a contract, that we think, oh, we've got to sign this and then we'll get a loan, becomes, all the bank people do is place that on the right hand side or whatever it is of their books, and it becomes an asset. And they have now got, let's say we're going for a 10 grand loan, £10,000 loan. The bank has now got a £10,000 asset of their own. So it was our signature on the note itself which actually made it money, turned it into money. We therefore monetarised via our signature. I'm going to go into signatures next week, very important. We therefore monetarised the original note. So it's a promissory note. What is a 20 quid note? It's a promissory note. What does a promissory note need to be monetarised? Simple. Three things: a signature, a date, and a dollar amount. That's all a piece of paper needs to become monetarised. So we think it's a loan application or a note or whatever it is. They're going to lend us 10 grand. We place our signature, all important live signature, on the note, and what happens? It turns into a species of money and becomes monetarised. What do the bank do? They are not allowed to lend money out from their depositors or from their assets. What do? They stick it into the asset side of their books. Now they've got a £10,000 asset that we've created from our signature. So our promissory note is recorded as an asset of the bank, and it's sold by the bank, this promissory note, for cash. But hang on a minute, they're calling it a contract. There's no equal consideration, so it can't be a contract. No equal, what does equal valuable consideration it's called to enter a contract. You're supposed to have that, and what it is, it's an equal amount of risk for both parties entering a contract. So if I want to enter a contract with somebody in the chat room, for instance, with our manager, Paul, if I want to enter a contract with Paul, I've got to provide an equal amount of valuable consideration. In other words, we've both got to be able to risk the same amount. Now, they don't do it, do they? Great question, Paul Giovanni, again, in the chat room. Hang on. If it's that easy, why can't we do it? I've tried it. I've tried paying a £3,250 gas bill with a promissory note, as directed by the Bills of Exchange Act. What did they do? I sent them a notice saying, send it back within 10 days. If you don't, then you have accepted it. And I tried to pay my bills with it, and what did they do? They kept it, and they still kept on billing me. I know why they kept it, because they cashed it in. So, yeah, Paul, you're right, we can do that. But the jig would be up. They don't want us to be able to do it. If Mr. Rothschild, I hope he's listening, hiya Nathan, if Mr. Rothschild wants to pay Mr. Rockefeller, all he'll do is send him a promissory note. Big corporations cash him in between, banks, big industries, but they won't let us do it. It's a real shame, isn't it? Because we could pass them out between each other. Good question, Kevo. Rob, what about paying them directly into an account? As far as I know, Kevo, they won't accept them. The banks don't want to accept them. The people on the shop floor, the normal workers, sorry, no, they call them wankers then, sorry. The normal workers, they've got no idea what they are. So they'll go, well done for trying, cheers. Oh, just hit myself in the face with a pencil, sorry. Yeah, try and stick them into an account and they won't accept them. They'll go to their gaffer and they'll go to their gaffer and the manager will come and there's nothing to stop them, Kevo, being accepted. But the first one that does get accepted, then we'll all start doing it and before you know it, the jig's up. So they just will not accept it. Because they want to keep that illusion going, don't they? That money is, I mean, look at a 20 quid note, what is it? It's a promise to pay, it's just a promissory note. So yeah, it's a shame, but they won't. Okay, so carrying on. It's not a contract because there was no equal amount of value or risk from both sides. They risk nothing in the bank. What have they got to lose? Nothing. We are creating money out of our signature, as a lot of people know. So what happens to the final process of these loans, and all loans are the same, loans. The bank then creates an account. It gives us a deposit slip, issues a cheque on this account with our signature, and this account is the source of the funds behind the cheque which we receive in the form of a loan. So what happens is they set up an account with us using our promissory note, a checking account. They then give us back a cheque from that account and we think we've just had a £10,000 cheque for a loan, or they stick it into our account by electronic transfer and we think they've lent it us. The bank actually claims it lent us those funds. It's called the principal. That's why you have to repay the principal plus interest. So it charges the interest, which is unlawful. The interest arising from any loan has got to be unlawful. Not only did they not give us full disclosure on a contract, it's not a contract because there wasn't equal valuable consideration, unlawful terms and conditions on the contract, so all that, the contract's fraudulent, and to make it worse, interest arises that they can charge us, which is totally unlawful. How can you have interest on a loan that never exists that we actually create via our signature, sorry? So the bank cannot possibly sustain a loss. So anybody, say to me, you don't pay a loan back, I got rid of a £7,500 loan in about 2 weeks flat. And people say, you muppet, you borrowed the money, you had the money, and you never paid them back. And I say, and I realised, yeah, I did have the money, yeah, you're right, mate, and I had a good time spending it. I took my kids away and bought them Xboxes and drunk a few cans of beer and had a bit of a laugh, yeah, but I created that money with my signature. All the liability, all the risk was mine. It was my signature. So, I'll close up on this loan stuff. No equal consideration, which is essential for an enforceable contract. Any loan or credit card or even a mortgage, but we'll get to that at a later date, cannot be enforced because it's not an enforceable contract. For those very reasons, no equal consideration, no full disclosure, no two-party signature, so it's not a bilateral agreement, bi meaning two, as in bicycle. It's essential to have at least equal consideration for an enforceable contract to be created. Therefore, the note was obtained via fraud. All they've got is what's called a unilateral, unenforceable agreement. That's all they've got. It's only signed by us, so it's an agreement. We are not bound by any contract, so it's fraudulent. The entire transaction, or contract as they deem it, is fraudulent. And, to make it worse, they'll never ever show you the original note. You ask for that original note. No, it's gone. They don't want us to even see it. To make matters worse, and this has really taken the piss out of us to the max, we created the funds, they trick us into it, and we create £10,000 via a date, a dollar amount, and whatever in a signature. They pretend to lend us it back, stick it in our accounts, but when they stuck that £10,000 promissory note as an asset in the bank's books, due to something called, which I know you're all familiar with, fractional reserve banking, that bank now, with that sat on in there as an asset for them, can lend or borrow up to 10 times that amount. Now you think about that. We've stuck a signature on a piece of paper. We've monetarised it unwittingly, unknowingly. They've stuck it in the asset side of their books, and that 10 grand now, they can borrow or lend out a cool £100,000. So we've created £100,000 for them. Yeah? They add interest to the 10 grand, and we get 10 grand back, and we think we've done really well, don't we? And if we default, or fail to repay it on time, we get charged unlawful interest. And worse, like I said, sometimes they ask for collateral as security. So if you default to a certain amount, the interest is growing. Greedy bastards that they are, they're not happy that you've just fraudulently lent us 10 grand. They've turned it into 100 grand, they're sticking interest on it. They want you to pledge something as collateral, and they'll come out to your flipping house out, won't they? For something that never existed in the first place, sorry. So, wrapping up loans, we're going to get onto bailiffs soon. It sounds complicated, it's not. Your signature is worth, we're all celebrities, our live signature is worth millions and millions and millions. We just don't know it yet, but we will when I finish in these next 3 or 4 weeks. We will know. So be very selective where you put your signature. Unless you do really have to sign something, do not stick pen to paper. No one on this planet can make you put pen to paper. Obviously, if you've got a gun out, then you write your name, don't you? But other than proper force, nobody can make you stick pen to paper and put a signature on anything. So we're going to be looking at that next 3 or 4 weeks, because this is going to help us. It's going to help us. It's going to help us get more and more free and realise what's happening. So what can we do about this loan stuff? Not to pay it. This is what I've done every time. It's the same scenario. What can we do? All we do is to stop paying the loans and the credit cards, but not the mortgages. That's for a later date. Is ask for the 3 documents that I keep asking for. Don't refuse it. I've tried the fraudulent stuff. We don't have to ask them any of that, because all we're doing is refusing to pay and creating conflict. Oh, thanks, Pippa. Cheers, love. Interesting, Rob. Oh, really interesting. Oh, I feel even better now. Cheers, love. Thanks. Yeah, so don't argue. Conflict arises. We're straight to court, where it's a horrible big building, you know, with men and women sat in costumes, that's playing a role, acting. It's pantomime. So we don't want to be going there, do we? So what we do is we ask for 3 things. That's all. We conditionally accept it. All right, then. You might have lent me 10 grand and I've only paid you 2 grand back. No problem. I've just come across some new information. Do us a favour. Just send us that original contract, that note that we both signed. Send us a copy of that. Also, you keep sending me statements. Don't send me, this is us to the bank. Don't send me any more statement, because it's not a bill, is it? Send me a bill, a proper bill. Call it a bill. Actually call it a bill, and put a live signature on it. And then I'll know it's not somebody knocking it up on the computer. I'll know it's you. Yeah, so send me those 2 things, and I'll happily pay the 10 grand. Okay. Oh, I'll tell you what, one last thing. Do us a favour. Show us a copy of your accounting where you transferred £10,000 from your account into ours, and then send me them 3 things, and I'll pay you £10,000 plus interest. Yeah, you know what? Because they can't. They can't even show you the accounting side of it, because it was never in their bank in the first place. We created it, and they deposited it in an account for us. So we're not arguing, are we? We're not fighting them. I'm going to have a drink of water, sorry. We're not refusing to pay. Oh, I banged that down, sorry. There's no conflict. There's no reason to go to court. So let's finish it off. Most people fall down. They do this. It never quite goes away. Why does it not go away? Because they don't finish it off. Well, I do finish it off. This is why I've never ever been successfully taken to court for any amount of money at all. I only go when I get arrested over driving offences, but that's another story. So how do we finish it off? We ask for the 3 things. We give them a time limit. 21 days. 14 days. 14 days is minimum. Give them 14 days. Please give me these 3 documents. Nothing happens. Second letter goes off. I realise you're very, very busy. You're a big industry. It may be, you might have lazy staff. It might be sat on a desk somewhere. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm going to give you another 10 days. Just come up with these 3 documents. And in law, that's all you're asking for. You just ask them to verify that everything that they say that you owe, that you do. That's all you're asking for. You're accepting it. Please give me these. No problem. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you another 10 days, because I know you're busy first time. But if after 10 days this time you don't send them, then you are agreeing that I don't owe you sweet FA, and I'm not going to pay another thing. Now, you've got another 10 days. Please send it me now, before the deadline's up. No, let's draw this matter to a conclusion. Come on. Otherwise, it's going to go on forever. So I'm going to give you another 10 days. Oh, and by the way, if this time you don't reply or don't provide all three things, I'm spending a lot of time on this, you then are going to accept my schedule of fees for work done and send them a schedule of fees. So 500 quid an hour, £2,000 an hour, whatever. So the second 10 days goes past, they might try to fob you off, we come up with some bollocks. One thing they won't have is all those three things. I've never known anybody out of the 40 or 50 I've done even come up with one of those things. They mind all three. So whatever they come back with, they can never come back with what you want, because if they do, they are thus proving your point. So they can never come up with it. Tacit agreement, acquiescence, silent agreement, it's got loads of different names. They are consenting by their silence. What have they consented to? They've consented that they don't possess any of those because they've not sent them you back, and they're also consenting to the fee schedule that you sent with the middle letter. So from now on, the time limit's up, the first 14 days or 21, whatever it was, the second 10 days is up, the third letter goes off, that's it, you've had what? 14 and 10, you've had 24 days, time's up, you send them the third letter after 24 days, you can leave it to 30 days if you want, they're never going to send it you. Third letter goes out, and it's called an estoppel, just means stop. An estoppel by acquiescence, acquiescence means you couldn't get off your big fat arses to even argue back, to send me any documents, you've agreed to everything I've said, I've given you time, I've given you extra time, you've agreed with it all, so you've also agreed to my fee schedule. In future, you're saying I owe you 10 grand, I'm not interested, you've had every opportunity to prove it, you've agreed to my fee schedule, any communication from you, from this moment on, see my fee schedule. They leave it a couple of weeks, send you a letter, boom, you hit them immediately with a bill for 3,000 quid. You get a phone call, boom, you've already told them it's £1,000 a phone call. Before you know it, the trick is that they end up owing you far more money than you ever owed them. I had a council tax is not a good thing to do, but I've done the same with that. They were trying to bill me for 1,500 quid. I used this process. Obviously, I didn't use the accounting because it wasn't a loan, but I used the contract and the life sign bill. Give them a time limit, and now they owe me 4,500 quid now. So how can they ever take me to court? Because if they take me to court for council tax, the judge who is, and I'm going to actually cover this in a bit, the judge who always is an accountant, he looks who owes who, who's the debtor, who's the creditor, he'll look down and say, right, council tax people, they've got a valid claim, Mr. Freeman owes 1,500 quid, yeah, that's true. They'll then look at Mr. Freeman, yeah, he's done everything above board, and he's now got an equally valid claim that council tax people owe 4,500. So all that would happen, and all he can do, is set it off against each other and get the council tax people to write me a cheque out for the difference, 3,000 quid. Yeah, so that's interesting, isn't it? So that's that. If it does sound confusing, I tell you, just play it back on podcast this after. I presume it's going to be on podcast again. Yeah, and do a bit of research, 5-10 minutes research. Lisa, what's saying? Oh, it's great, Lisa, isn't it? It's empowering love, isn't it? And it's not hard, and I keep harping on. All I keep saying is let's mirror it back. And we know it's working, Lisa, because they're doing it to us. So all we've got to do is just turn it back round. No more fighting. We're not arm wrestling with them, and we're not booting them and punching them and shouting and swearing. Oh, it is love, yeah, it is, aye. All we're doing is saying, oh, this is your system. You have to abide by your own rules and regulations. So based on that, it's contract law, it's commerce, it's whatever it is. Just give us that, otherwise I don't owe you. So that's like me saying to Philip makes movies in the chat room, for instance. We don't know each other, and I say, Phil, you owe me 5 grand, you owe me 5 grand, you owe me 5 grand. And he says, all right, and then what's your name? And I say, Rob. And he says, Rob what? And I don't tell him my name. And he says, well, just send me a bill then. And I send him a bill, it's just computerised, there's no signature. I can never take him to court, and if I do take him to court, there's no live signature on it. I'm not billing him, I'm just sending him a piece of paper with printing on it. So, for instance, until I actually put pen to paper, this is what I meant about the signature. It's everything, it's the most important thing that you'll ever use. Coming up for a future time, this is the thing that's going to free us, to be honest. Yeah, so, what time are we on? Oh, God, it's going quick, isn't it? Right, so, I'll tell you what we'll do. I wouldn't play a song here, but time's cracking on, isn't it? Yeah, I'll tell you what we'll do. That took longer than I thought, that. Okay, so that's loans. What have I got here? Okay, we'll cover some bailiff stuff, because I know somebody in the chat room last week wanted to hear about bailiffs. In fact, I think I've just seen the word bailiff earlier. Yeah, okay. Philip, you owe me 5 grand, like it's nobody like it. Yeah, so this is quick, this. Okay, bailiffs, horrible people. Suppose they've got to do the job, haven't they? So I'll go over bailiffs quickly and put another song on. Okay. Black's Law Dictionary, bailiff. Definition. So, in the law dictionaries, what is a bailiff? We all think we know what they are, don't we? By the way, a debt collector's not a bailiff. So let's have a look at their definition that they're using. Bailiff. Okay, definition. A court officer who maintains order during court proceedings. So that's somebody in court is also called a bailiff. That's just security, isn't it? Excuse me. Hang on. Blind, a bit of wind. Okay, so he's a court officer. Also, a sheriff's officer who executes writs and serves processes, usually in his own county. Oh, okay, so we'll get into what he's actually doing. So originally it came from bailiwick. That's what bailiff came from, sorry. What is a wick? It's usually the name of a village used to be called, hundreds of years ago, used to be called a wick. So bailiff comes from bailiwick. Okay. So the jurisdiction for a bailiwick or for a bailiff was the territory, that's why it's called wick, the area. So they've only got jurisdiction in their area. So nowhere can I find that it says that a bailiff can intimidate you and take your goods. That's not what he's there for. But what he can do is exercise a writ. Okay? A writ's a legal document. That's all it is. So let's have a quick look what to do and what not to do, and I'll explain just the best way to deal with a bailiff. Okay, I'll tell you things not to do with a bailiff. Okay. I mean, I don't even speak to... I've one bailiff 2 years ago. I don't even speak to him, other than I had a notice on my door telling him I'm charging him £5,000 if he didn't go, and he went. So you are not obliged to even speak to a bailiff if you don't want to. Never open the door to him, speak to him through a window, or don't speak at all, just tell him to go away. He's got nothing. He's got no authority whatsoever. But let's have a look. Never sign anything given to you by a bailiff. If you do decide to speak to him, never ever sign back to signatures again. You need to cut out the pickled onions, Rob. Oh, cheers, Lisa. That was about 3 days ago, was that? Oh, I fancy one now. Right, sorry. Yeah, never sign anything given to you by a bailiff. Never sign anything given to you by anybody. Never phone a bailiff. What they like is put a note through your door without knocking, in big red writing, and a big mobile number. You must ring this, because they want a contract with you over the phone, don't we? That's what they want to do. So never sign anything with a bailiff. Don't speak to him if you can help it, but never sign anything. Never phone a bailiff, because you are then contracting over the phone. Like I said, never even open the door to a bailiff if you don't want. If you want to speak to him through a little window or a letterbox. He's got no rights. He can't take your car. He can't really do anything. I know people have done. I know bailiffs have took people's cars, but they shouldn't be doing it. It's unlawful, and I can show you how to stop that. Never even admit to any debt if you speak to him. Don't even give him your name. If he's looking for Mrs. Sanderson, don't just say I'm obliged to speak to you. If he says yes, say, well, what law obliges me to speak to you? And he may come out with, I work for such and such courts, or, well, that's not the law, is it? Any law that he can quote would be a statute. Tell him it's a statute. It's an act of parliament. It's there by consent. I don't consent. I don't even want to speak to you. Even if he gets your name right, you can never ever get locked up for lying. Police do it all the time, and judges. Just say, I'm not that person, now go away. If he says, do they live here or what, just say, go away, and they'll go. Actually, you can phone the police. I'm going to tell you the slight difference in bailiffs. I'll tell you just before we finish this bit. Okay, so never verify your name, date of birth, nothing. Don't give them anything. If they want to know why you won't speak, just say for security reasons I don't know you. So don't speak to them. And always, this is good, is take a photo of them or get them on video. Brilliant. Always do that. And tell them I'm taking a photo of you, or film on your phone. They hate it. They squirm like squirmy things. Ask for his bailiff certificate number. Are you a proper bailiff, or are you a debt collector? A lot of debt collectors pose as bailiffs. Are you a debt collector or are you a bailiff? I'm a bailiff. Are you? What's your certificate number? They don't like it. Well, where's your identity card? Oh, they're not supposed to know about that. Which court certified you? Are you a certified bailiff? Or are you from a private... There's two types of bailiffs. A court certified, a court appointed bailiff working for the courts, or a private bailiff company. Private bailiff companies have got less authority, even though they've got none. A county court bailiff, we perceive that he's got more authority from the county court. What is a county court? It's exactly a private firm, that's all it is. So they're both bailiffs for private corporations. Private corporations have got no jurisdiction. All they can do is extend an offer of a contract. That's all they can do. That's why you don't have to speak to them. So, bailiff certificate number, have you got one? Ask for his identity card. Which court certified you? Oh, you're not certified, you're private. Well, fuck off then. Sorry, it's not 9 o'clock. Well, go away then. Oh, you are a court certified bailiff. Oh, brilliant, right, yeah. Give us your identity, yeah, okay. Give us your name, okay. Right, a court's a private corporation, so again, F. So, best thing I do is I have a typed out questionnaire that I hand to him without speaking, and it says on the top, you must fill in this questionnaire lawfully and sign. So what you do is, the very things they're asking you, you have to say back, we mirror it back again, chaps and chapesses. So, what does it say on my documents? If I decide I want to have any communication, it's a lawful questionnaire that he has to sign, and I ask him questions. Where do you work? What's your national insurance number? What's your inside leg measurement? How much do you earn? How many times do you have sex? How many kids you got? A whole host of questions that he has to answer lawfully. And at the bottom, it says, when you have answered all questions lawfully and signed with a live signature, you give him the pen, then I may wish to contract with you. What happens? The same result every single time. He disappears up his own arse and goes. So, another empowering thing, innit? Do not be frightened. Oh, cheers, Rev. How you doing, Rev? You all right, mate? Yep. Nice to join us. Oh, thanks, mate. You just sent me a really nice message. Yep. So it's either a court-appointed bailiff or from a private bailiff firm. No one can intimidate you. Tonight's theme, I'll repeat it in case Rev's only just come. It's about belief. It's not about belief systems from an outside source. Anything exterior, it's about self-belief, isn't it? This is what I'm big on. Self-belief. I use the word believe now. I no longer hate the word. It's a great word. Even though it's got lie in the middle. It's not belie. Not when it applies to me or you individually. It's self-belief. You cannot be intimidated by anybody. You are your own authority. Nobody can tell you what to do. They cannot use force against you. They cannot push past you. They cannot threaten you. You can phone the police. And even if you feel you're being threatened. Oh, I've lost a piece of paper here. Okay, so I'm going to finish off with that. I'm going to say I had an extra piece of paper here, but that's now gone, not to worry. So, a bailiff can enter your property with a writ or whatever to remove goods, but he can't force himself there. So what do? He can enter only through an unlocked window or a door, or an opened window or a door. In other words, if you don't lock your door and your windows, without breaking in, he can try the handle. If it's open, he can walk in. If it's locked, he can't do a thing. If it's left open, your door's left open or your window's left open, he can actually gain access. Now, very important, as soon as they've got access, the very first time they've got access to your house, then it's very, they can always come back and then they can break in the second time. So the rule is, don't speak to them. If you have to speak to them, ask them a load of questions and never ever let them in the first place. Don't be intimidated. They can bring the police. The police are just there to keep the peace. Do not let them in. Because once in, they've got rights. So, talk to them through a window or a door, slightly ajar or whatever, or just don't bother speaking to them at all. They've got no authority, guys. They cannot do a thing. And they know it, and their perceived power is getting less and less and less. Okay, so that's bailiffs. We've done loans, haven't we? Oh, what time have we got? I've got 20 minutes left. Let's stick one more song on. Let's have a look. Oh, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll stick this on. Okay, I was wondering, how it's got to this stage with everything. Criminal organisations, they've took over, haven't they? The very thing, this very legal system is enslaving us through money, through everything, isn't it? It's legal, it should be recalled lethal. We can't get away from it, or we think we can't get away from it. We can. What I wanted to tell you is, how has it got like this, or what I wanted to ask you is how it's got like this. And from the, Second World War, Britain itself, most of the countries, we had what's called a post-war dream. We supposedly won the Second World War. We were rebuilding, and our politicians and our country all backed each other, and we had this dream of what Britain or America were saying, what we were going to become. And to be honest, we were just sold a lie, weren't we? And we all bought that lie. Well, not us, but our mums and dads and their mums and dads. We bought this lie, this post-war dream. And I thought, well, this is what's happened to us. We all got corporatised, basically. And I thought, well, when did that finally come into fruition? And what I realised is, and I know Paul Giovanni's not going to like this, but the 80s, such a brilliant time for us all. Such a fantastic time for the music and the movies, and I love the 80s, and I still like the music. But while we were all being distracted with entertainment, that beautiful lady Margaret Thatcher in the 80s put the final nails in the coffin, as far as I'm concerned, by privatising everything. The same happened in the States with stupid Reaganism. Ronnie Reagan did the same thing, but in our country, she privatised everything. Thatcher the milk snatcher. She privatised all the national industries, the mining, the steelworks. I'm from Sheffield. I used to work at the steelworks for a short while. Everything became privatised. Like I said, the mining industry, everything became privatised, corporatised. So now, from the 80s, what happened is we became corporatised, and corporate fascism is what we're all subject to now. Fascism, I always struggle with that word. Adolf Hitler did not lose the Second World War. Everyone says, who lost the Second World War? Germany. Who won? Britain. No. We all lost the Second World War. All the Nazis did was go underground and come back out as corporatism, as corporate fascism. We all lost, fascism won. So, and I thought, well, how did it finally come off? And the big boom in the 80s, big fitness industry, everybody were mad on fitness. Everybody started, don't rent your house, buy your house, buy your house, buy property. One massive scam to nationalise everything, bring the corporations in, and inflict the fascism. We're now living under a corporate fascist regime. Yeah, so the final nail in the coffin there from Thatcherism in the 80s. Brilliant 80s that we all experienced, yeah. While we're looking the other way, having a good time, weren't we? Corporate fascism took over, didn't it? Yeah, so what I found out about car insurance, a little bit extra for us, is we all have car insurance, and like we said, it grows every year, doesn't it? The premiums go up all the time. They never come down, do they? I don't even think they stay the same, do they? So, and it's not a scam to get out of paying car insurance, because, like I say, I've come up with this bonded idea of an insurance. Oh, incidentally, I'm talking over at, is it Ashton, Paul? I'm not exactly sure the area of it, but I'm doing a talk next week in Manchester. Orange and coffee? Oh, Rebel. Like it. Yeah, is it Ashton? What's the meet called, Paul? Meet? The meeting, the people that meet with the group itself. Is it? I know it's Ashton. Anyway, I'm talking there on to next week, so there'll be no Out of the Matrix show next week. And I don't know if it'll be filmed, so it may be available to watch. Yeah, so no Out of the Matrix next week, because I'm talking there. Yeah, so let's have a quick look at car insurance. Like I said, I've come up with a bonded type of insurance idea that we need people to get on board, so I'll probably mention that in the talk, and I'll probably mention that on my next show. So, car insurance, like I say, it keeps going up, doesn't it? Ashton Meetup, oh yeah. Oh, link to Freedom Northwest, right. Probably link them, We Are Change Manchester and Critical Mass Radio, so all linked together doing great stuff, aren't they? All of us. So what I want to tell you about, yeah, car insurance, right, I keep saying it, don't I? Never getting on with it. Okay, as most people probably haven't heard of this entity, it's called the Motor Insurance Bureau, MIB, Men in Black, yeah. Okay, what's the MIB? It's a private company, right. What is it? Well, every insurer underwriting UK car insurance, I've took this off the internet actually, just about the MIB itself, so it's the Motor Insurers Bureau. Every insurer underwriting UK car insurance is obliged, by virtue of the Road Traffic Act 1988, to be a member of the MIB, Motor Insurers Bureau. So all insurers, all insurance companies have to be a member of the Motor Insurers Bureau and to contribute to its funding. A private company, but what is it? Well, it says you can make a claim under the uninsured or untraced driver's agreements by completing an MIB claim form. This may be done directly by the claimant or a solicitor or other appointed representative. Well, so wait, hang on a minute. If you have an accident and the other person gives you the name but they're insured, or they just drive off and you can't find them, you can actually claim for all your damages. So why do we need insurance anyway? So you are insured. Interesting. The MIB is a fund of last resort, and as such will consider claims for property damage and injury. where compensation cannot be claimed from another source. So, you're paying all your insurance premiums, and if somebody runs into you who's not got insurance or disappears, all you do is stick a claim into the MIB. MIB is funded by all the other insurance companies having to dip into it. So, does it make sense to have car insurance? Does anybody need car insurance? Interesting. The home page for the MIB, and it's nearly done this, only last 2 minutes, because we've not got that long left. The home page for the MIB says, listen to this, if you own a vehicle and it is registered in your name, unless it has been declared off-road with a sole notification with the DVLA, it must be insured at all times. Let's look at this again. I always read between the lines. If you own a vehicle and it is registered in your name, does that mean that you can own a vehicle that's not registered in your name? What I'm getting at. Unless it's been declared off-road, it must be insured. So what they're saying is that if you own a vehicle and it is registered in your name, it must be insured. So that's not to say that you can own a vehicle and it not be registered in your name. In that case, it doesn't have to be insured. So that's what it means. You've got to read between lines with these people. It says it is also still illegal to drive a vehicle without appropriate insurance. Notice illegal, not unlawful. Not that I want people to drive without insurance. I'm just showing you the scam and the thing how it works. What's appropriate insurance? What's appropriate? Well, that's subjective, isn't it, for a start? So it's illegal but not unlawful. Also, which I don't like, the MIB holds the insurance records, the MIB database, of over 34 million vehicles. Wow, that's a lot of vehicles. And is used by the police and DVLA to enforce the law. Excuse me. Sorry about a bit of cough. So what am I saying? I'm saying that there is no actual law that says you have to be insured. Not that I'm advocating it, I'm just showing you how it works. I think everybody should have some type of insurance. But the trick is, they want you to register to be insured. You can't get your car insurance without registering your car. But as it quite clearly states here, if you own a vehicle and it is registered in your name, it must be insured at all times. So, I've got a vehicle that I own that's not registered in my name. It's not registered to anybody. It's recorded in my name. So, do I need insurance? No, I don't. But I have got insurance. So, what am I saying is, let's get rid of all these MIBs, these illegitimate insurances that are earning a fortune. They stick a bit in a pot, anyway, they stick quite a lot in a pot. So, even if somebody runs into you who's not insured, or you can't find out who they are, you can still claim your money back, can't you? So, load of bollocks. Insurance is a load of bollocks. Let's do the bonded insurance. Let's get £1 million bond and self-insure. Back to self-belief. Forget their legal system. Let's do everything lawful. Let's not cause anybody any harm. Let's do it ourselves. Okay, so that's car insurance. What am I finishing on? Get rid of that, because, I'll save that till next week. That's quite good, that. Okay, how long have we got? Oh, not long. 8 minutes, right. Just want to tell you a little bit about court before I finish and play out from the last song. All about self-belief. We're getting more and more empowered. I feel more empowered. I know you lot are. Every time something happens, for instance, one of our hosts, Fettel Fane on his show on Monday, told us all about how he was in the custody of police, not under arrest, but sat talking to him under bail conditions. He used a trust relationship. He told us what he'd said. He reclaimed. He believed in himself. So he self-empowered. He rearranged the arrangement between the police and himself, and told them that he was the general executor of his own trust estate and the beneficiary. They tried to make him sign some papers, back to signatures. I'm going to go into that next time. He would not sign. They tried to give him papers to say, here, take them, and he folded his arms and would not take them. So fair play, Fettel. Well done, pal, for standing up for yourself and asserting your rights. They had nothing on him whatsoever, and he recorded the whole thing. So brilliant. So well done, Fettel. So we are becoming self-empowered. It's through self-belief. Self-belief, we know we can do it. If we know it, we believe it. But it's self-belief, the most important thing. So I just want to tell you something about... Oh no, it's going to be too long-winded, that. How long have we got? 5-6 minutes. Okay, I'll just tell you about a court case I've got coming up on October 9th. And the court is Magistrates Court. So we go along, if you owe money or you've done something wrong, we go along to Magistrates Court, and I'm going to close up with this in about 5 minutes to make way for Andy. It's called summary convictions or summary judgments, isn't it? Well, what does summary mean? Summary means that they've already made their mind up. Oh, just got a message off Paul. Let's have a quick look. Oh, thanks, Paul. You star. Because I always end up rushing down. Have you noticed? I plan it out really well, but I always end up rushing it. Yeah. Okay then, Paul. I'll finish up shortly before that time. Okay. Paul's just said I can carry on a little bit longer, so I'm not rushing as much. Okay, brilliant. So we go along to courts. What we think of courts, because we're the fish that bit, and we've been caught. We get an invitation. We go along to magistrates' court or county court. And it's called summary convictions or summary judgments. The reason it's summary is that they've already surmised, they've already made their minds up that you are guilty before you get there. And as we know, I've said before, but I'll go into it another time, but you're a sinner, it's a church, it's many things, but we've got the stain of original sin, so we're guilty anyway, aren't we? So we know the court's a church, we went into that last week. It's also many other things. So it's summary. Why is it summary judgment? Well, the judge magistrate also is a bookkeeper again, back to books again. All he sees is who owes money to whom. That's all he's bothered about. And you're a debtor. Lloyd's TSB say I owe him some money. All he sees is he decides with the corporation, because he's acting as general executive of the trust. They're the beneficiary, I'm the trustee. So all he sees is that I'm a debtor. Summary convictions, I'm a sinner, I'm a debtor, I'm a trustee, I'm guilty before I even walk in place. So I got looking at it, I thought, well, where... There is no justice. Habeas corpus, innocent till proven guilty. Well, that's gone out the window, hasn't it? We are operating in a system called corpus juris. What that means, basically, is we have to prove our innocence. We are automatically guilty through summary judgment, summary convictions. So, like I do, I thought, well, I'll have a bit of a rest from everything I'm studying. I'll have a look at this, and boom, it just hit me. And what I realised is, what is summary judgments, or what are summary judgments, and what are summary convictions, and when did they come about? And so this just explains everything. It might sound confusing to you, but it shouldn't be. When did they come about? I realised that up to a couple hundred years ago they came about, and I looked up some old documents and laws, and what I found out is that a summary conviction, which is what they employ, or a summary judgment, they've already made the mind up before you get in, originally was called, get this, a summary execution of mercantile instruments. Sounds a right mouthful, doesn't it? So I studied it. Summary execution of mercantile instruments. Mercantile, what is mercantile? I had a look in a normal dictionary and in their law dictionaries. Mercantile is of or relating to merchants or trading equals commerce. The mercantile system. So hang on. We're being judged through commerce and trading, not through law. So it's not a court of law, we know that now. So what they are doing, it's summary execution of mercantile instruments. So basically, what are the judges doing? They are summarily executing debt instruments against us. What? I'll say that again. The judges and magistrates are summarily, before you even get in there, executing debt instruments against us. Well, what does that mean? Well, the problem is that there are no debt instruments. They don't exist. What is an instrument? It's a written legal document that gives you either rights or liabilities, such as a contract. Well, so we've already established there's no contract from, remember it's Lloyd's TSB or any company taking me, there's no contract. Oh, hang on a minute, if there's no contract, why is the judge executing it as if it's a debt instrument? Can you see what I'm getting at? So, what they've done is they've taken a mercantile, a commercial law, a commercial instrument, and they are executing it, so we are already subject to a debt instrument before we even walk in there. And what I'm trying to say is, they're using it as if there's a contract in place, which we've asked for and we never get. So the judges are committing fraud. The whole thing is fraudulent. That's why we can't win in court when it's to do with a bill or a debt. Because what they are doing is, they are executing a debt instrument against us. We've already breached the contract, even though there's not one in place. The other side is saying, we've breached it, so that's why it's summary conviction. We cannot win. The judges and magistrates, like I've said before, side with the corporations 97% of the time. Human beings, us, in all our naked, bloody glory, stood there almost naked in front of the law under full commercial liability, only get 3% wins. Why do we get 3%? Sorry, 3%? Well, it's to keep the illusion of justice going in it, that's why we get it. So, summing up on that, how long have we got? Oh, yeah, I'll go on for another 5 minutes. So in summing up about courts and summary convictions, the reason they can do it is it's summary execution of mercantile, commercial, for instance, instruments. In other words, debt instruments are placed against our name when we walk in there as a fraudulent contract that's been breached, so we cannot ever win. You can plead and argue and do what you want in court, and so can your solicitor, but you're only going to win 3% out of 100. 3 times out of 100 we're going to win, guys. We want it the other way around, don't we? We want it fair, don't we? So that is why you are held accountable in court. That's all a judge does, is he looks at the accounts, who owes, Mr. Rob Freeman, debt instrument against your name, tough, pay up or go to prison. Looks at the other side, we owe the money, sorry, I owe the money, so what am I? I am held accountable. In other words, that's why we're held accountable in court. We are able to be added to the accounts. That's exactly what it means. When we're held accountable in court, we're not accountable for our actions in terms of law or what's wrong or right. We're held accountable because we're given a commercial value. And we're either turning up with a negative or positive commercial value. So it sounds confusing, but it's not. It's all about money in court. There is no justice. There are no laws. It's all about a dollar amount again. So that's court. Somebody sent me an email, said they got a judge's order. I think it was the lady with the bailiffs. The order wasn't signed. And I learnt this very, very early on. And I said, I explained what an order was to her, and she's attacking it from this angle. There's no limit to how many defences you can have. You can use the trust, you can use all sorts, the contract stuff. And she's using this, that the order wasn't signed, but she's also telling them what the order was. And let's have a look, 846. I'll just tell you what an order is. You go to court, and a judge gives an order. I may have told some other people about this. It's quite interesting, this. So what is an order? Well, a judge makes an order. Well, what is an order? Can you get rid of an order? Yeah, you can. I've got rid of them myself. It's easy. It's back to fee schedule again. I'll show you. Spend 5 minutes on this before we close up. So, what is an order? Well, let's see. Put it in simple terms. You go into McDonald's, okay? You don't want one. You'd never want to go in there, would you? But let's say you go in McDonald's. You go to the counter. What does the girl or chap behind the counter? First thing he says, "Can I have your order?" And you say, "Yeah, I'll have 3 Big Macs and 6 milkshakes because I'm on a diet this week." So you've placed an order, haven't you? So the 5 seconds later, because it's all rammel, isn't it? They give it you straight away, and what do? Boom, they hit you with a bill, don't they? So, looking at that and thinking about it, hang on a minute, what is an order? Well, according to their books, you don't have to disobey an order. They say you can't disobey an order. Well, who gives orders? Military people give orders, judges, magistrates, cops. Well, let me just tell you exactly what an order is. In law, according to their books, it's the same thing that's happening at McDonald's. If anybody's ever watched the old programme Judge Judy, they used to watch it for the laugh. You watch that programme, the reruns on Sky. What she does is she comes to a determination after listening to both sides, and she makes an order like every other judge and magistrate. And what do? I order that you pay $3,000. Boom, hammer goes down, and she clears off straight away. Every judge and magistrate does the same. If she just made an order and settled that case, why does she disappear into the back? I'll tell you, because an order always creates a liability for a bill. That's why when you go into McDonald's, you place an order, you get a bill. Orders create a liability for a bill immediately. So a judge will order you, or a magistrate will order you to require you to either pay something or perform an act, to do something, or to stop doing something. That's what orders are about, but he's ordering you. So, what is he doing? He's ordering for your services. Last time a judge ordered to me, I placed him with a £3,000 bill. What it is he's placing an order with me. Now, if he wants me to do something, I know he's going to give me an order, I give you my fee schedule. We're back to that again. So, a court wants to place an order for me, for my services. What they want me to do is, they want me to, they want me to start paying a corporation £20 a week. The judge orders that I have to pay him £20 a week. And I said, no problem, you've placed an order with me. This is my schedule of fees. For that order you've just given me, it's £3,000. So, basically, we get them to owe more money out and be more liable than what they're saying we are. What is an order? An order is a request for your services. A judge cannot give you an order. Nobody can give you an order unless they want a service from you, and all you do is give them a fee schedule, and they soon disappear. So we charge them. That's what it is. Don't try and stop the order. You can't cancel the order. So that's what it's all about. It's all about mirroring it back. Okay, so anybody gives you... I'll go into this actually more next time. Anybody gives you an order, no problem. You are ordering from my catalogue if you don't have to. No, we're not forcing you to order from me. If you want to order for my services, boom, there's my fee schedule. And you can do it to a judge or anybody. You've got no more authority than anybody else. You've not committed harm or loss, people say, but you've not committed harm to anyone. So no one's got jurisdiction over you. If you're ordering me to do something, lovely, no problem. There it is. I'm on a time scale of £3,000 an hour. There you go. And you'll soon find out those orders disappear. So even after they've ordered, if they've made a determination and you've already got the order, no problem, send it back and say, I will fulfil your orders, we are trying our best, we're very busy. By the way, this is my schedule of fees, take it or leave it. And they'll soon feck off. So, right, Andy's probably getting ready now, Andy the Rebel, with a great show. So I'll let me close up now. I've waffled on a bit tonight, but some good stuff. So, tonight's theme, what was it? Well, I never used to use the word... Oh, what have I got here? I'm just going to click that off. Yeah, I never used to use the words believe for the last 4 or 5 years. Believing, see, there you are. It's etched in our subconscious, isn't it? Believing's got lie in the middle. You don't want to be using believe. You don't want to be using that. And what I've realised is that we are being, as I say, we're suffering under corporate fascism, under the tyranny of that. But from being born and our parents before them, we all were sold a lie, and we all bought the lie they instilled core belief systems in us. This is why I hate the word belief or believe, because it's got lie in the middle. We were sold the lie and we bought the lie. But now it looks different because it's a belief system. I can't tell you what to believe. You can't tell me what to believe. Nobody can tell anybody what to believe. If you're getting your belief or a belief system from an outside source, from an outside authority, from anything exterior, then it's not a correct belief. The belief comes from inside. That's the belief we're talking about. We're talking about self-belief. People say to me, it's alright for you, Rob, you can go to court, you know what you're doing. And I don't know what I'm doing. Nobody knows what they're doing. But what have I got? I've got self-belief. I believe in what I'm doing is right. I used to think belief was the opposite of knowing. It is when it's an outside source, when it's yourself. Self-belief is a precursor to all-knowing. Before you can know it all, or be all-knowing, you have to have self-belief, and that's what I've got. That's why I'm going to go to court on October 9th, or I want to get rid of it before it gets there. And I have strong self-belief, and I know deep down, they're trying to give me a 6-month sentence for a driving offence. I will walk in there a free man, it's self-belief, I'll walk out a free man, and I'll put my bill in, and I won't rest until they pay me 3,000-4,000 quid for the day. If he makes an order, like I've just said, he wants me to perform, pay something or perform a task or whatever he wants me to do, I don't come cheap. So self-belief is everything. Not the belief system they're giving you, we believe in ourselves. So that's about it for me really. I think I better close up. So that was the theme. I wanted to cover a few more things than that tonight, but never mind, we'll do it next time. Let's have a look on the list. Yeah, we'll cover it all next time. So thanks a lot for listening. Any questions or any topics that you want to discuss for... Oh, damn, I'm not here next week, am I? Well, no problem. For 2 weeks' time, any topics, any problems you've got, anything that you think might be interesting, pose us a question or send us an email at, outofthematrix@criticalmassradio.co.uk. So I'm going to push off now, make way for Andy. I won't be able to join the chat room because I'm sorting my kids out, but I will be listening to Andy all the way through, and it is a great show. So thanks a lot for listening to me. What was tonight's theme was belief, self-belief. Self-belief is what is going to help to empower us. People say to me, you know what you're doing, Rob? And I say, I don't really know what I'm doing. The only difference between, I say to someone, yourself and me, is that I've got the confidence to fight back. And that's all it is. And where does that confidence come from? First of all, it comes from believing, but self-belief. And once you've got self-belief, then it turns to all-knowing. So, with any luck, we all should be sharing in that. So thanks a lot for listening to me. Thanks a lot to everybody in the chat room. Thanks again, Paul Giovanni, for Critical Mass Radio, doing an absolutely fantastic job and helping to change things and striding forward and making great progress. And anybody connected with it, Should be really proud. Give yourself a pat on the back. Shake hands with each other. We're not sat on us fat horses whinging. We're becoming self-empowered. We've got self-belief. We know we can do it. And we're all going to strive forward together. So cheers. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening. I'll see you all next week. I'm going to push off now for Andy. Cheers. Bye-bye.